Those of you who got an invite, welcome to Nerd Prom.
No matter where in the world you are, we're all Nerds International. With the hyphen.
Alright, YouTube, it's Mr. Mean coming at you from very gloomy fall Duluth, Minnesota. My voice is a little froggy. I apologize. I'm getting over this cold. I've got a nasty cough. I'm hoping I can get through this video without hacking a lung. I apologize if it's disturbing or whatever. Hey, man, don't watch. Come back and watch another video later on, man. I got some free time, and I wanted to belt out a video and just say hello to everybody. And, I'm looking in the background here before we get to today's video, and I'm seeing all the stuff. And the thing that disturbs me the most is the bottle of lotion. It's kind of freaky. Mr. Mean's not like this. It's for my baby. You see, it says nighttime baby lotion. It's for my baby. Changed his diaper, put some lotion on him, and I left it here. But just so you guys, but I want to point it out before somebody says something in the background of me. Oh, Mr. Mean, freaky dicky. Yeah, we're not going to go there. So anyway, guys, today's video du jour is what I don't do a lot of. I don't do a lot of mainstream games. I do the weird games. I do self-publishers. I do older games. You know, obviously you see my library back there. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 8 more boxes, moving boxes right here, packed full of RPGs that I can't even unpack because I got nowhere to put them. I do have a little bit of space up there, but I'm saving it for other stuff. And then I got, of course, all my plethora of stuff laying out. I'm still working on trying to get a game of Tyrannoth going. I'm also this Friday, as in tomorrow night, I get to play. I hardly ever get to play. I get to play Mithras. My good friend D-Train is going to run it. He's going to set it in the world of the Dark Eye. He borrowed my Dark Eye book. He liked it so much that he bought his own copy. I let him borrow my little paper, the trade paperback size, and he liked it a lot. And so he's going to use these mechanics in the world of the Dark Eye, which I think is really cool. And he's bought 1 or 2 other books, found them relatively cheap, and so he's excited about that. So, but anyway, that's enough of what's going on with Mr. Mean. Today's video, oh wait, let's get the housekeeping out of the way. Like and subscribe. Tell your friends. I'm almost at 400 subscribers. I'm like 398. Come on, guys. Tell your friends. Get your little brother to just click like. I mean, he never watches YouTube anyway, right? But anyway, get your wife, your sister, your mom, whatever. Just help me get that 400 break, man. It's not about monetization. YouTube's changed all the rules. You got to have 1,000 subscribers now before you can even think about monetizing. It's not about that. I have Patreon. If you guys want these videos a week earlier, subscribe to my Patreon. You get them 7 days before everybody else. Today is Thursday the 27th. This will be posted on YouTube on the next Thursday, which I believe is the 4th, for everybody to see. If you're not a Patreon, my Patreon subscribers will get it today, or this afternoon after it renders. You got to do all this. It's a lot of work. Anyway, so that's out of the way. Like and subscribe. And, if you find it in your heart and you got a couple extra bucks, subscribe to me on Patreon. It's $5, as low as $5 a month, maximum $15. But anyway, out of the way. What are we talking about today? God, we've ranted 3 minutes and 47 seconds, and we haven't said anything. I don't normally do big games. I like to stick with the little games or the lesser well-known games. I don't consider the Dark Eye to be a lesser or a little game. I consider it to be a lesser-known game, at least in the States. In Germany, it's huge. Here, it's just another D&D clone. And to be honest, it couldn't be further from D&D. But go back and watch my reviews. I've done all of the products up to date, and I will continue to do them because it's one of my favorite settings. But I've been running for the last month Pathfinder Playtest. Yes, Mr. Mean took the plunge. I spent the $30 at my local game store in Superior Level Up Games. They had several copies. I think they still got a few left. So if you're in that area, in the Wisconsin Superior area, and you need a copy, go by there. Shameless plug. They're a bunch of great guys. Cool little game store to hang out. They have a lot of open gaming, a lot of tabletop stuff. They do a lot of 40K. Kill Team's real big over there right now. I went and played a game a couple weeks ago, just an intro to learn how to play. It was real quick. It was actually kind of fun. I played Tau. They're sitting over there on my gaming table. Anyway, my thoughts on Pathfinder. The errata just came out. If you haven't got it, go get it. You can see I got my bookmarks in here and everything. Unfortunately, the last couple of weeks, man, I just haven't been able to get it together. I've been sick, and my wife was sick, and then some things came up in the new job with my wife, and she works shift work now, so I haven't been able. So, unfortunately, I think I'm going to have to cancel. I just can't get it together. We've missed 2 weeks now, and probably going to have to miss next week. We play on Tuesdays, and I know it's just killing everybody's enthusiasm for it, and it sucks. But I wanted to make this video because everybody knows I'm not a huge D&D fan. I'm not a huge Pathfinder. I love the Pathfinder world. I think Galarian is fantastic. I love the books that they've done, the presentation quality that Paizo and the high standard of quality that Paizo puts out is amazing. I think in a fantasy setting, their goblins are the best. Nobody beats Paizo's goblins. They are the best. And in 2.0, you can play a goblin, which I think is awesome. I'm not going to go into mechanics or anything. It's just going to be a broad overview. I'm going to rant about what I like and what I dislike. Because it's been out now long enough that if you're slightly interested, you've already picked it up, or you're maybe on the fence, so maybe I can help you. They've got several products out. You know, Pathfinder is... I've heard a lot of grousing on the internet and in my local game store. You know, why? It's a playtest book. Why are we paying for it? Well, you know, Fantasy Flight did the same thing. Fantasy Flight soaked you for $20 for a beginner box for 4 of them. So $80. You know, of course, you got a set of dice in each box, you know, for the Star Wars, the whole Star Wars thing. And, you know, you got primers to the rules, the basics and everything. So you learned how to play, and you got an adventure for $20 in a cool little box that falls apart the first time you open it. I'd like to point out. And like an idiot, I bought all those boxes because I love Star Wars. So... But people don't complain, you know, when Fantasy Flight... Well, they did complain, but Fantasy Flight did the same thing. They put out a beta book, charged like $30, $40 for it, for the Edge of the Empire book. And literally after the first round of playtesting, 90% of that book changed. It was irrelevant. It was useless. So that thing is now more of a collector's item than pick it up and play the game, because obviously it was a playtest document. And that's what this... It says it right here, playtest. So this is... $29.99 retail. You can get it a little cheaper. It's quite hefty, guys. It is weighing in at 428 pages, comprehensive index, good table of contents. They've got some nice tabs here on the side to tell you everything, but I put some tabs up here that are a little bit easier for me to see for my own edification, just because it works better for me. They've put out not a bunch, but they've put out several things. Now, of course, they have their range of pre-painted plastic miniatures, which work great with this. I have a bunch of the goblins because I think they're fantastic. And I'll continue to pick up the pre-painted plastic miniatures. I think they're awesome. I really like them. They're handy, you know, when you're putting an adventure. I have a giant tub over here, a big Tupperware, you know, gallon, like laundry basket sized tub that is just chock full of D&D pre-painted, Paizo pre-painted miniatures. Because I can just reach in there. You don't have to be careful with storing them like you do your personally painted miniatures or anything like that. But I keep those for running. They have the flip mat pack for the Doomsday Dawn for the playtest, and this ran $24.99. I did not pay $24.99. I got it a little bit cheaper. I think I got it for around $20 on Amazon. So totally worth it. I bought some of their early flip mats back when Paizo was first becoming a company, and they put these out, and I did not like the quality of them. They didn't lay flat. They were a little too thick. They seem, and I don't know if it's just me or maybe I've changed over the years, but they seem to have gotten the quality down right. These things lay pretty flat. You know, those pre-painted miniatures, they don't weigh much, and so if the mat's all goobly gook, the miniatures will fall over or whatever. They're not heavy, and I'm not going to glue pennies to them or anything like that. So to get this, you just kind of bend it the opposite way. They're dual-sided. It's 2 maps in here, so it covers all 4 acts of the Doomsday Dawn adventure. I recommend it. It's nice. So I just wanted to show that off. If you were on the fence about this, or you didn't know maybe about the quality, or if it was going to lay flat, it works pretty well. You just fold it the opposite way, and it excuse me, it lays pretty flat. I got my Dasani here. Sorry, my throat is killing me. The other thing is, I printed off the adventure Doomsday Dawn. It's free. They also sell it. I just put it in a spiral bound, or a 3-ring binder. I have a whole bunch of these sleeves. I got thousands of these things, so I just printed it off. I printed it black and white. You could do it in color. They also have a bestiary, but I think it's well over 115, 120 pages, and it's full color. I didn't want to print it. Sorry, excuse me, guys. I didn't want to print it, so I just printed the pages I need for each act of the monsters. I have not seen if the bestiary is in print. I don't think it is. I think they left that as a PDF. But I know Doomsday Dawn, you can buy it print, and of course you can get the Pathfinder, obviously, playtest book. It's softback, but it's like I said, it's chunky, 428 pages. It's color. It's illustrated. Obviously it's a Paizo standards. If you like Paizo's art, or you like Pathfinder's art, then you're gonna love this. There's not a ton of art in it, but there's a good chunk. There's enough to justify the $30 price tag, I think. Some really good black and white drawings. My artist friends out there can tell me what that is. Because artists, for those that don't know, they'll draw in pencil. They'll rough sketch in pencil, and then they go over with this like red pen, or a darkish reddish brown pen, and they make changes or whatever. They do like a preliminary sketch, and then they go over it with a darker pen, and then they ink it however they're going to ink it. That's what these look like, is those preliminary sketches that they use. I don't know what it's called. Any of my artist friends, go ahead and fill me in on there. But that's the style of art in the book. There are a couple of color pages. Nothing, I don't think, amazingly new. I think it's all most of it is recycled art. It's all, they use the iconic characters from regular Pathfinder 1.0. And like I said, the art's good. There's the rogue chick. It's really well done. So let's go over what I don't like. Let's start with that, because I've played it enough now that I think I can form an opinion. This is a playtest document, so with that being said, we have to take what I don't like with a grain of salt, because it's a playtest document, meaning the final rulebook. And I playtested the original Pathfinder, and that was a tome, 500 and something pages. I think the very first draft was close to 600 pages, and then of course they toned it down, and then they printed the core rulebook, which is sold, I don't know, thousands and thousands of copies. I don't like the layout of the book. There's a lot of page flipping, and everybody says, "Whoa, John, it's an RPG, duh, you're going to be flipping pages." But I don't like how they laid it out. Now, that's my personal preference, and again, it's a playtest document, and they're taking all that feedback, and I've been filling out the feedback surveys when they post new ones. And one of the things, and excuse me, all my players said the same thing. It was hard to find stuff in here. Now, like I said, they did do the chapter, headings right there in the bronze or gold, whatever you want to call that, watered down brown, leather brown. And that helps a little bit, but trying to find specifics is painful at best. And it's, again, playtest document. It's not a perfect book. It's not meant to be played, twice a week, every week for the next 5 years. This is, this book is going to be redundant in a couple of months when the actual 2.0 Pathfinder comes out early next year, 2019. So, again, I reiterate, it's a playtest document. I mean, it's a living document. They've already put out some errata. They've already talked about some changes. I have not incorporated that changes yet because we haven't had a chance to play, but I plan on it. I think they're going about their playtest really smart. So my biggest pet peeve is the layout of the book. Character creation. You gotta flip a bunch of pages, and I don't know of a better way to do it. I'm not a publisher. I'm not a layout. I don't know InDesign. You guys know me. I can barely spell InDesign. So, but I just feel like it was a chore. I created 2 characters from scratch in this book just so that when it came time to walk my players through how to create a character, I would have the basic knowledge to help them. I think that's important. And I think a good sign of any role-playing game is how intricate, easy, difficult, challenging it is to create a character in their game system. The mechanics will come from playing. It's easy enough to look and go, okay, how do I do this? How do I do XYZ? Refer to pages ABC. That's easy. That's relatively fast enough. If you've been gaming for any length of time, hell, if you've been a college student, you know how to look up information quickly. So it's not bad in that aspect. It's bad in the aspect of when you're creating a character. I just think the layout and the pointing you to different parts of information were poorly done. Not poorly done. Done not to my liking. So that's my biggest pet peeve. Everything else I really dig. I hate to say I didn't want to like this. I did not want to like this. I mean, D&D is pretty svelte. It's an easy system. It's fast to pick up. It's, unless you're playing a ranger or a druid, the mechanics for the game are pretty easy. Those 2 classes get a little difficult, but even still nowhere near like they were in the days of 3.5 or Pathfinder, which we grognards affectionately call 3.75, because Paizo got the license in, SRD, and they went crazy with it and cleaned it up and made it their own, and they've done a bang-up job. I'm very happy with the products from Paizo. I don't play Pathfinder 1.0. I love the world. It's just not my cup of tea. I'd rather play Dungeon World. I'd obviously rather play The Dark Eye. That would be my game of choice. Or I'll play D&D if I have no other choice. And unfortunately, here in Duluth, it's usually D&D. But that being said, what do I like? First and foremost, as a GM running the game, I like the mechanics. They haven't changed a whole lot, but they've changed enough to make it svelte. And I love that word. I think svelte is a sexy word. They've made it svelte. And what I mean by that is there's an action point economy in this game. One of the things like in D&D that I've never liked in any version of D&D is it feels like you're playing WoW. And what I mean by that is WoW is very static. You run up, you click attack. You never have to touch another button if you don't want to. You just keep whacking the guy, and he takes a hit, and then he whacks you, and then you take a hit, and then you whack him back, and it keeps going until somebody runs out of hit points. And they say there's a statistical formula, and sometimes you can miss, and I don't care. It's boring as hell. It's why I don't play WoW anymore. I was burned out of WoW 10 years ago. There's much better MMOs out there, in my opinion. Terra being one of them, Guild Wars 2 being another one. But the point is that static combat where there's no room for moving, or there's less room for tactical choices. But that being said, that is the nature of the game. That's the type of game we play. We know what we're getting into when we play it. So it's accepted, and it's because that's just the way it is. What these guys do is they give you 3 action points. Everybody gets 3 action points. What you do with those 3 action points is your business. You want to run 3 times? You can run 3 times. You want to fire a bow, drop it, draw your sword, and then run? You can do that. You spend your action points within the frame of the rules to do pretty much whatever you want to do. You want to cast a spell, you want to just flick that spell off, well then you just only use one, whatever the minimum component of that spell is. Say it's verbal. You say the words and the spell goes off. It has less power. It doesn't do as much, whatever that is, But if you want to add a semantic component or verbal, semantic, and material, you want to add those two other options to that spell to make it stronger. You've got 3 actions: spend an action, verbal; spend an action, semantic; spend an action, material. Next round, your spell goes off, and it's way more powerful than just snapping that spell off. So that is neat. The way they do attacks of opportunity, I like. It's very similar to D&D. You have to be engaged with somebody, and of course, if you're flat-footed or whatever, so the mechanics are still there. There's nothing in here that you're gonna go, oh my god, that doesn't make any sense. They've put it together. The monster stat lines, I think, are a little more condensed, and I like it. There's a few monsters in here. There's a whole bunch in the. Actually, I don't think is there any monsters in here? I don't think there is. There's just a bunch of spells. I think the monster manual gives you the monsters, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong. Initiative is done off of your perception. So, and I like that. There is no more initiative stat. You know, like in D&D, you have your initiative bonus based off your dex and if whatever armor you're wearing and blah, 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 and you go from there. It's kind of still the same here, but it's based off your perception. And then the other cool thing they do is that I really like, which I wish D&D would do this. And I have a funny feeling when we see the 6th edition D&D, we're going to see some similarities, because there's a lot of cool things in here that I feel they totally took straight from D&D. And there's thievery is the best flattery, right? But skills are trained, experienced, master, and legendary. So you have 4 ranks in a skill. So if you look, you can pause the screen there, and hopefully my camera will kick in. Yeah, there we go. And you can see the skills down here. So when you pick your race and your class, you get certain choices. The other thing that I like is the default system for creating a character is not points-based anymore. And I like that. Gone are the days of, oh yeah, I rolled my character. Yeah, I rolled 4 18s. No, you didn't. You cheated. Now, you have ticks. You get options. And at each step of the process, you get so many points. And those points turn into a little tick mark. All your stats start at 10. Everybody across the board starts at 10. If you're playing one of the demi races, a dwarf or an elf or a gnome or whatever, you may have a negative to one of your attributes because that's just how it is for those races. Humans are a flat line 10 across the board. And then you play a human and you get X amount of points and you tick off on your character sheet, and each tick equates to 2 points. So if you put 1 tick in your strength, you now have a strength of 12. And so on and so forth. No stat can start over an 18 at character creation. I like that. It's a limiter. Everybody is the same, but there's depth of characters. I had 2 players make goblins, and both of their goblins are night and day. But they still had the same points to work with. And that's a sign of a good system. And I like that. So action points, phenomenal. Point-based, but not point-based character creation. The choices you make give you ticks, and then at the end of it, you get 4 ticks, and those 4 ticks you can put anywhere you want, obeying the limit of no attribute above an 18. Really cool. And you choose your class, and all that. You choose your gear. You get everything's in silver. I believe that the way they do it, everything's in silver, so there's no argument over how many gold pieces equal this and that, or platinum and electrum and blah blah blah. No. Everything's in here is in silver, cut and dry. So you know what you're working with. You roll your, it's a certain number plus 4 times 10 or whatever, and that's how many silver pieces you have. And then you go shopping. Your class gives you certain things. You start with some things, and then you buy everything. So as a playtest document, I think it's done very well, and I like where they're going with it. Now, I haven't had a chance to read the errata. I have it printed off. I haven't had a chance to read it yet. I'll probably work on that this weekend. All my energy is going into Mithras right now, because I'm going to play a mage, and it's going to be hard because that's a weird game. We'll save that for another time. But I like I like where they're going with this, and if you're like me and you're not a big fan of the mainstream RPGs and you like to play some of the weirder games out there, give this one a try. And maybe you don't want to, you can download the playtest documents for free. You don't have to spend a dime, which is nice. You can just download it. It's free. You get the bestiary, and it's got, I think it's 100 and something monsters in it. That's more than enough to get started with. The character sheets are free. And check it out. If you like D&D, if you like Pathfinder 1.0, I've seen some things. I did go on the Paizo message boards, and I was reading, and some of the Puritans of Pathfinder they were saying, oh, the action economy system is stupid, and opinions are like assholes. Everybody's got one. So get with a group of like-minded friends who are maybe open-minded and willing to try a new game, and try this out and see. My guys, 2 of my players were pretty much new players. One of them had never played Path. He's only ever played D&D. And the other guy, the fifth player, had played Pathfinder, had played original Pathfinder, so he was curious to try 2nd edition. So they've got a long way to go. The job's not done, but it's a diamond in the rough right now. And I think the nice part here is I've got a shit ton of 1st edition books up there. That shelf that's right above my ear, this shelf right there where you see the D&D books right there, all those books over here, those are all Pathfinder books. I've got a good 10, 15 Pathfinder books, plus a whole bunch of the little $20 splat books that they came out with, Pantheons of Faith, and, the devils, and, demons, and blah, blah, blah. So all of those books are still usable, and they're going to put out a conversion guide to tell you how to convert from 1st to 2nd edition. So I think they're on Bestiary 6 or 7 now. That's a lot of frickin' monsters. I don't want to go out and rebuy all those books. And it sounds like they're not going to make you. They're gonna keep those books. They're going to phase out the publication of them, and then I would assume when their stock is gone, they'll start putting out new books. Here's the age-old complaint: oh, I got to buy so many books. What people fail to realize is it's a game company. It's a company. It's a business. They're in it to make money. In order to make money, they have to create books for you to buy, so they can make more books. There's very few games that you buy one and done. Look, D&D has 3 books: Player's Guide, GM's Guide, Monster Manual, and then it goes splat books from there. Mithras uses the BRP system. Technically, this is the only book you need to play this game, but if you want more monsters, if you want more options, you have to buy some of the BRP books, like the Magic book or the Monsters book or the Isle book or whatever, whatever it may be. You have some purchasing options, because it uses the same mechanical system as basic role playing. So you don't have to, but you can. And I get a little miffed when people start, they put out so many, like Rifts. Everyone complains about Rifts. Oh, there's so many books. They're a 30-year-old business. How many books is D&D, is TSR WotC put out? Thousands. I would have to say they're probably close to the thousands, if not over. So, that's over 30 years. That's a lot of books. So so people are like, oh, well, why did they have to come out with a 2nd edition? Well, because the line was getting stagnated, and it was the same old, same old. So they're shaking it up a little bit, trying to bring new people into the game. 1st edition Pathfinder is complicated. I call it Mathfinder, because like Palladium books, like Rifts, there's 300 source books that you can use. I'm not going to lug all of that around. I really want a game that has 4 or 5 books at most, and that's all I need. And then if they want to reinvent the wheel, go for it. I don't have to buy it. I can stick with my 1st edition. So that's what I'm saying to the grognards that are grousing about 2nd edition. You don't have to buy it. they're not going to stop producing books for first edition for quite a while. They just, in fact, yesterday or the day before, they just released another book. They've just released Rise of the Rune Lords. Like all the rest of the Rune Lords are waking up now, and so that's first edition. Now they're saying that's going to be their last adventure path. They're not doing any more for first edition Pathfinder, but I have to think they have more books in the queue ready to print, ready to go to publication. So yeah, Pathfinder 2.0 is coming, and there's nothing you can do about it. But here's the joy. Just like 4th edition D&D, just like 3.5 edition D&D, just like Champions, 4th edition and 3rd edition, and you can keep playing it. There's no one twisting your arm to say you have to go out and buy it. So I don't get why people get mad. You want your game company to be around. You want to be able to see product on the shelf for the game that you love, but people don't want them to progress. Well, they have to progress. They have to stay new. They have to stay vital, and they have to make money. They have to put new games out. So, I mean, I'm never going to get to play all of those games. Never. But I'm damn sure going to try. And so, for guys like me, I'm happy for this because it's refreshing, it's new, it's innovative, and it's cleaning up some of the clutter. Am I going to get rid of my first edition Pathfinder stuff? No, I'm going to keep it. I'm going to use it for reference. I may run 2.0 Pathfinder. I don't know. So far, I'm liking what I see, and I may be tempted to run it. Will I stop running Dungeon World? No. Dungeon World is a phenomenal game. Will I stop running Uncharted Worlds? No. That's an awesome sci-fi game. Am I going to stop trying to run Tyrannoth? No. I like all these games, and I'm going to play them, and hopefully I can find a diversified group that, after a couple of months of playing Pathfinder, they're going to want to switch to The Dark Eye, or they're going to switch to Uncharted Worlds, or they're going to want to switch to Game X. Mutant Chronicles is another love of my life. So I'm saying there's a lot of room in the multiverse of gaming. I don't know too many gamers that just play only one game. They may only like to play D&D, but most gamers, if they've been in the hobby for over, I would say, 6 months to a year, they have more than one version of a role-playing game because something will catch their eye. Their friends will introduce them to a new game, and they'll pick it up. They may never, ever play it, but they'll pick it up and read it, or they'll look at it. That's how I started. I started with D&D just like everybody else. And then I went to AD&D, and then I went to 3rd edition, and then I went to 3.5, and then I went to 4th edition. I have all of those books. They're all up there. I have them all. And I keep them all because I enjoy the hobby. I pulled out the Fiend Folio a couple days ago, and I was looking up something, and I was just like, oh yeah, I forgot. I was so excited. So it's reminiscing. It's a joy. It's pleasurable. It's fun. And these companies have to stay viable. They have to make money. Paizo is a thriving company. They sell t-shirts, they sell messenger bags, they sell plushies, they sell dice. They sell all that stuff because they have an infrastructure that they have to support. And in order to support that, they have to have a varied array of products in order to make money. This is just another step in the ladder to keeping that business around for another 5 to 10 years, maybe longer. So you may not like it, you may not agree with it, but give it a try. Go into it with eyes wide open. Maybe you don't like it. You don't have to spend any money on it. It's a PDF. It's free. You can download it for free. And with the errata that they're putting out, if you like it and you don't want to buy the 2.0 book, you don't have to. Plug the errata in, spiral bound this, put a sheet of the errata in there. You're good to go. It's your game. Do with it as you will. Add what you like, subtract what you don't like. Change what you do like, change what you don't like. Games are just that. They're games, and not everybody likes them. Not everybody hates them. And so find a group, play what you like, have fun playing what you like. So that's just my little rant. We're going on 35 minutes here. I just wanted to belt out a video for my backers and give you my thoughts on Pathfinder in case you were on the fence. Mr. Mean says it's a buy. Maybe just get the PDFs. If you have a printer or you have access to a work printer and you can print off 425 pages without getting in trouble, go for it. Take it to Kinko's or UPS store and get it spiral bound. You got an awesome game book, or wait for the 2.0 hard copy to come out and, order it then. I think it's fun. We're really liking it. We like the action economy. I like how spells work. I like how clerical magic works. We're digging it. So, character creation is a little fuzzy. There's a lot of page flipping, but I think that's just part of the territory with any RPG. Very few RPGs have a very succinct, gameplay, character creation style. Vampire, I think, is probably one of the easiest, but even with Vampire, you still got to flip pages because you don't know, first-time player, you don't know what all the abilities do. And this is the same thing. And I think any role-playing game is like that. If you're a gamer, you're used to that. And if you're a college student, you're used to flipping pages. So I don't think it's the end of the world. I hope that, I know they're going to clean. I'm not even going to say hope. I know they're going to clean it up. I know they're going to make it neater. I know the presentation is going to be top-notch. I know they're going to pull out all the punches for 2.0, and I think it's going to be worth it. And I know I'm probably going to pre-order it. I'm going back to work here real soon. Those that don't know, I did get a job, so I'm waiting on my security clearances. Once they all clear, which I have no doubt that they will, I get to go to work, and I'll start getting an income coming in again. My videos are going to slow down just a little bit, but I'll still try to get at least 1 to 2 out every week, because I like doing this. So anyway, that's Mr. Mean's thoughts on Pathfinder 2.0 playtest. It's a buy in my book. Check it out. At least, go to a convention if you can. I'm going to try to be at Gamehole Con. It's early November 8th through 11th. It's about, I think, 5 hours away. It's in Madison, Wisconsin. It's a little ways away from me, but it's not undoable. But the problem is it's so close to me. I haven't started work yet. I've got at least another week at best before I start work. So that's going to put me into early October, and I'm financially behind, way behind. You guys have been great in supporting me. Lots of nice comments. I appreciate everybody. Please keep up the love, and all that fun stuff. But I'm hoping I can go. I may not be able to go because I'm not going to be able to get my finances in order, but hopefully I can. And, again, I have PayPal me, I have Patreon, I have my email address. So, if you want to see me at Gamehole Con, you want to help support the channel, shoot me a couple bucks. Like I said, PayPal me is great. It's a one-time thing. You can send, a couple bucks. Good to go. But anyway, this is not a rant to beg for money, but I would like to go to Gamehole Con and run some games and then come back and give an after-con review like I've done with several other cons that I've gone to over the last year or 2 years, however long I've been running this channel. But as always, thank you guys so much for taking the time out and watching. I really appreciate it. I hope I've answered some of your questions. If you have other questions, as always, shoot me an email, jpolak@gmail.com. Easy to get a hold of. You guys know how to do it. I'm on G+. I'm on Discord. There's a link to my Discord. The cool thing is once I go back to work, I don't know if I'll be able to run Discord at work or not. Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't, so it all depends. I'll be working for a government entity, and they may have strong restrictions on my internet access. I don't know. Hoping they don't. I'm hoping I have some leeway, seeing as I'll be the IT administrator there, the only IT administrator there. Hopefully it's not a big deal, but obviously I don't want to do anything to jeopardize my job or anything like that. It would suck to get a job and then turn around and lose it 2 weeks later just because I couldn't stay off of Discord. That would be dumb, and I'm not going to do. I'm not going to do that. So if they say no, it's no, and then I'll just have to get on Discord when I get home, or maybe on my phone. But again, thanks for all the love, all the positive thoughts. You guys over this last 6 months have been amazing. I appreciate it. Like I said, we are real close to 400 subscribers. Smash that like button, hit that little bell to be dinged when I dong. I'll put some links down in the doobly-doo for my Patreon and everything. And as always, peace and hair grease. And Mr. Mean says, be nice. Be well, everybody.